So yeah, I wanted to produce some more, or record some more videos that were you know, not music related. I thought the walking and talking format might be easier to record, because you seem to be able to formulate your thoughts on something more easily when you're walking along. But my phone ran out of memory when I tried to do that on St. Patrick's Day morning, even though I just done a 10-minute monologue talking about how I discovered the YouTube Atheist Community in 2008. So I'll just rehash it here anyway. I became an online person in January of 2008, and you know, when I discovered YouTube, you know, it's great to see all this music uploaded. It was fantastic, and I really used to enjoy that, you know. But very quickly, I just would look at the trending page to see what was trending on YouTube, and I saw a video by a guy called Pat Condell, which was called Godless and Free, and thought that was kind of interesting looking. So I checked it out, and Pat Condell turned out to be a fairly garrulous Irish Londoner, you know, ex-lefty stand-up comic, with an extremely anti-religious view, and I found that very interesting to listen to. Very extremely critical of religious belief. Religious belief in general, but it quickly became obvious that given that it was about 2008, and in the previous couple of years there'd been a lot of jihad type attacks due to Islamists, you know, Al-Qaeda of course, and this of course was at the time when you know, there was a far greater Muslim presence in the, or growing Muslim presence in the West. The effects of far greater levels of migration, and in internet terms, this of course was called the Jihad Watch, or internet culture terms, all of which I personally found absolutely fascinating, and it got me extremely interested in religion again, having been raised devoutly Catholic. But I found the atheist community content, and particularly the anti-religious content, to be very compelling, and I devoured huge amounts of it over a 5-year period, I'd say, from early 2008 into 2012. Loads of big name, you know, atheist content creators like the Atheist Experience, Aaron Ra, Dark Matter 2525, DPR Jones, Thunderfoot, The Thinking Atheist, Zomgits Chris, The Peach, Coughlin 666, just an endless plethora of them, all very, very interesting to listen to. And of course the famous Four Horsemen, you know, there's a very famous 2-hour discussion between Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, Daniel Dennett and Richard Dawkins, and again, like, very, very, very interesting to listen to and absorb, and I would certainly highly recommend it. And some others, you know, Potholer 54, my man, respect. So yeah, years of this, and forming a very anti-religious view in my head. But in absorbing all that content and following all these channels, you know, there was a great kind of feeling of kind of solidarity about the whole thing initially, but you started to see little fractures appearing hither and yon. Social justice started rearing its head, and third wave feminism intersectional feminism and that type of activism, it began to become apparent to me that that was very much baked into a lot of the content of these, it has to be said, for the most part, very progressive content creators, which initially didn't really have much effect on me at all. Actually, I was still very much just you know, learning about logical fallacies and epistemology and what you can say you can believe or what you can't believe or what you can honestly say you believe, how belief forms, and the rational view was incredibly appealing to me, and just specifically because of that. It got me extremely interested in philosophy as well. So but you couldn't help but notice a lot of these fractures and rifts that would occur in the communities. The very first one that I saw was a philosophy channel called Sisyphus Redeemed, and that chap is an absolute and total progressive, by the way, and is to this day. But this was about 10 years ago, and a very good little video critiquing the atheist experience, and particularly Matt Dillahunty's very rude behaviour with a caller that was called into the show, saying that the guy basically was saying that I feel like I'm as much as an atheist as I am a theist. And Matt Dillahunty was very rude to him, saying that that was an absurd and stupid thing to say. And Sisyphus Redeemed did a very, very good video explaining, you know, about epistemology, knowledge, and how that informs belief. And it's far more nuanced than simply saying either you are or you are not. And the fact of the matter is, Matt Dillahunty never really kind of kept that tack up when he was speaking to people about belief and belief formation, and it started to ring very hollow for me then. Which isn't to say that Matt Dillahunty isn't a ferociously intelligent and very, very capable expositor of things like the philosophy of knowledge, and is a formidable interlocutor in that regard. But that one really, that just set my thinking slightly askance to what I previously had lapped up. And then, you know, the Jihad Watch thing, some creators like Thunderfoot, they really just became the problem with Islam, you know, of which there are of course many problems, and all well worth being explored and discussed and laid bare. But that again created rifts, and they all get very ideologically opposed to each other in one way or another, mostly free thinking people saying, hang on, you can't just start raining on the parade of Islam, you know, everybody has to be equally criticised, and others saying, no, that's racist. And well, it just kept fracturing out and cascading out into a lot of recrimination. Another interesting cycle to note was how some folks within that community felt that the conversation was now over, there was nothing more to be discussed, religion had been done. The atheist equivalent of Francis Fukuyama's the end of history. So and we all know that was a crock of shit. So but it is it's interesting to review and go back and look at some of that old content again. Some of it, it certainly is, well, a lot of it has me in a position where I can't honestly say I'm a believer, but my views on religious belief and a belief in the divine have modified a lot over the last 10 years, and I'm obviously very sympathetic now to folks that are believing people. The only thing I'd ever argue about these days would be dogma and you know, silly stuff like creationism, things like that. Not that I ever really get into those conversations anymore. So yeah, that was just, I just wanted to talk for 10 minutes about that kind of spur for my interest. There might be specific creators within that I'd like to talk about again. I'm doing all this without notes, just off the top of my head, and I feel the conversation would probably be better served, or my thoughts might be better laid out if I did it in an essay form that I read, but I have to have a think about that, of course. So anyway, that's just to begin with anyway. So no music for this one anyway, and probably not to the interest of too many people who might inadvertently click on this channel, but it's a start anyway. Thanks.